Let's see what this thing is made out of. Can't find this DNA signature anywhere. Okay, let's put it back together and look at the back. Hi guys, and welcome to a new episode on this channel. Today, we will be talking about one of Mark Twain's short stories, which is a medieval romance. Oh, love! Just like Romeo and Juliet. Something just like that. Mark Twain might have based the short story on Romeo and Juliet, but we don't know. Now, it was the year 1222 during this time, and then there was loads of chapters here. And like, you she would never be such a duke with such a duke. And it's like, ha ha ha, you might never know. They had an epic battle in the second chapter. 6 days after the occurrences of chapter, a villain destiny is gone, but he has fled the dukedom. I did not believe it at first, but then it happened. And then, chapter 3, the plot thickens. A few months slipped by, and all men flourished praises of young Conrad's government. And then they had a very, very epic fight. Ching, and fought a lot and lot. Ching, like lightsabers and all that stuff. And literally everything happened here. And then there was an awful revelation. And then the frightful catastrophe. The frightful catastrophe talks a lot about war. And literally it has loads and loads of samurai blades. Like fighting other people from another. With a lot of fighting and medieval romance. Now let's like Jedi's from the year 2012-22. And this whole story is based on 1 year. And I want to say that you might be able to say stuff about it. But I just want to say that you might be able to be wrong, and yeah, everything just like that. It's like having a Jedi fight, only it's in the medieval times. And that's exactly what I mean here. Medieval, yeah. And then finally, the guy who started the story was the one who won the battle. And then that princess was like, I don't know who to marry now. So, she never did marry. Epic failure for everybody. No! Yeah, everything just like that happened. And I just want to say one thing before I leave this episode and then saying everything about this. But I want to say that romance isn't just about Romeo and Juliet, even though it might be the first thing you might think of. But, however, the best thing you might think about romance is better than Romeo and Juliet, but other plays. Like Shakespeare for Romeo and Juliet, Mark Twain's medieval romance. And sometimes even my romances and my crushes. I'm not going to say who though. And literally everything here has something in common. Everybody has something in common. Romance. Or if they don't have romance, they're not human or anything. And a biological need, which is reproduction. And literally everything. Everybody has some stuff here. And Mark Twain can show that in medieval times and in the romance. Now, one thing you can learn from here is about how love can get into fights, can get you into fights, and how it can get me into fights for romance is because they're like two men loves one woman, but the woman can only marry one person. But it turns out that she was already married. Nalu pakuja. Now that's just mean like in Korean, switch to me, and literally everything. Like this means a love. A few months ago, there was a song, K-pop song, released in 2020, which was Switch to Me, or Nalo Pakuja, like that. But it turns out the woman who was getting fought over by these two men already married to the person who probably looks like the person who sung Gangnam Style. Like that. Yeah, you know. Rain and yeah, JKB, yeah. So yeah, that's how everything ended in this episode. And I have a question before I leave. If you were Mark Twain, then what would you write about instead of romance? Would you write about epic Star Wars fights? Since there was no Star Wars then, I guess that will be clued out. Or racism, but with funniness. Write them in the comments below, or just write any of your suggestions. And I'll see you in the next episode. Junhan, out!